Well, wait, to understand what's going on is to understand Iran. There is no justification for these attacks. This is Iran trying to have regional hegemony. It wants to control Iraq. It wants to control Syria. It wants to control Lebanon. It wants to control the whole Middle East. And this is intimidation against Kurdistan. It is an excuse from an American point of view, claiming that there were spies there. And even further, the Iranians are now claiming that this attack was related to the killing of during the commemoration ceremony for Soleimani, the terrorist IRGC leader. They can't keep their story straight. Iran is the head of the snake in this region, and unfortunately, Kurdistan, it pays the price by being next to Iran. Well, there is a problem with America and its resolve in relation to Iran. On one hand, it does not want a regional war. So because we have there is an active war going on between Israel and the terrorist Hamas entity, and it wants to keep things quiet. It is allowing the Houthis to attack our international shipping and American shipping, and America's response has been weak. What really needs to happen, and what I actually have been speaking to Congress today, is I believe that if you want to decrease the chances of regional wars, attacks against American allies like the Iraqi Kurds, Iran has to pay a price, and there needs to be some action against Iran in Iran, and there needs to be full enforcement of sanctions against Iran. Iran otherwise will continue to do all the negative things, support all of its terrorist axis that's there. So I don't believe America has done enough for my country, and I literally today was talking to members of Congress and in the Senate that we really need, and it goes against what many people think, but by not hitting some part of Iran symbolically to show that they're vulnerable, Iran will keep attacking American allies and groups. 130 attacks against American facility soldiers in Iraq and Syria since the Israel-Hamas war began and not responded properly. Sanctions will help. We are not fully enforcing sanctions. What that means is that Iran is selling a lot of oil to India, a lot of oil to America's adversary, China, who are profiting from discounted oil prices. And America is not fully enforcing those sanctions. Iran is becoming enriched and can support those proxies. So that is the first thing. There are plenty of sanctions that we are not enforcing. Second, Iran needs to know that a true consequence kinetically, it will happen. The places to go, if you look on a map, there are places called Karg Island and Bandar Abbas, where they have their container ships, where they have their oil facilities. A symbolic strike to let Iran know they're vulnerable is the only thing that will wake up Iran to put pressure on Hezbollah, to put pressure on the Houthis, to put pressure on Hamas, to put pressure on Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And from your point of view, put pressure against the popular mobilization forces where Iran has infiltrated the Iraqi army, and that undermines Iraqi interests. It's about time, and that hopefully maybe the Kurdish Republic can get the Iraqi Sunni and Arab Shiites, and that they can come together to Iran out of Iraq. They are hurting independence throughout the country. And Iran is a major problem at many levels, especially for the Iraqis. Well, I think that America considers Kurdistan and Iraqi Kurdistan a very important place a stable place in a very unstable region. It is important that we do have soldiers in northern Iraq. Those are the safer soldiers than ones that are in southern Iraq, more exposed. America rhetorically has said the right things, but I think that America, and it has to say that what goes on in attacks from Iran to American allies like Kurdistan cannot be left alone, and that we must have some type of consequences against Iran for what it's doing. Will the administration, American administration, step up to that test? It's not an easy thing to do right now as America enters its political season, and President Biden is receiving tremendous pressure from some in his parties to be more isolated. That would be terrible for America and national security interests. We should not forget that Pakistan is an American ally, American ally. Well, as far as the United Nations Security Council, it's a very political body. You have to remember that um, the two members there, China and Russia, are allies of Iran, and I don't see them allowing something of any significance to come against its actions that are here. If anything comes, it will be very watered down. Again, the fact that this was a civilian building that was hit, despite the Iranian protestations, that a child was killed, should certainly show the callousness of what Iran will do and what Iran does. Don't forget what Iran does to its own people, that they imprison and torture, in prison. So what doing actions like this that kill civilians, this is what the world's largest terrorist state does.